A very good evening, everyone, and we are delighted to have you here. It's going to be an exciting session today filled with expert insights and knowledge from not only one but two speakers this time. As always, we will have a Q&A at the end, where you all can ask your questions. Be ready with all your questions. You can type in the chat box and we'll pick it all in at the end. Let's welcome our guests for the evening, Abhishek and Travis. Abhishek is the engineering manager at Gather AI. Abhishek comes with a rich experience of over 15 years across design, development, and management of software, product, services, and leading tech teams. And Travis comes with 17 years of experience in HR, recruitment, working spanning startups, corporates, and agencies. Travis is currently heading the talent acquisition team at Gather AI. So, welcome, Travis and Abhishek.
Thank you, Divya.
Thank you for having
Yes.
us. We're very excited to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Before we start with the agenda, for the people who have joined the session for the first time, I would like to introduce you guys to our Remote Revolution series. So, at Uplers, our mission is to streamline the hiring process, making it reliable, easy, and fast. And therefore, Remote Revolution is an initiative wherein we invite speakers from top notch companies like Twilio, GitLab, Atlassian, and many more to share their insights on how these remote companies hire, their process, culture, values, interview tips, and remote readiness traits required by global brands. Our mission behind this initiative is to upskill you guys to get a job in a top remote company. Moving ahead to the session agenda, Abhishek and Travis will take us through their journey. They'll share their insights into their role. They'll talk about the unique culture at Gather AI and their experiences working with a remote team. Following that, Travis will talk about the intricate hiring process at Gather AI, and we will also learn the key qualities required to succeed in a remote positions at Gather AI or any global company. So, to begin with, I would request the speakers to please take us through their career journey, their role at Gather AI. Let's start with you, Abhishek.
Hey, everyone. I'm Abhishek Bansal, engineering manager of the full stack team at Gather AI. And over the years, I have honed my skills building and scaling products across more than 50 startups in diverse domains. And at Gather AI, I lead high-performing engineering teams, ensuring our products run smoothly and efficiently, especially on cloud. And we have experienced incredible growth. Like in just last 4 years, our team has increased to a size of 47 talented gatherers worldwide, and out of them, 9 of us are based in India. And today, I'm just excited to share more about our product and the culture that we have. Thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you so much, Abhishek. So, let's move to Travis. Travis, can you please tell us about
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. So, hi, everyone. My name is Travis Bricker. I'm the talent acquisition manager here at Gather AI. I've been in talent acquisition for about 17 years now, working within startups, large corporate environments on the agency side of staffing. I've recruited for everything, everything under the sun, including, administrative, clerical, accounting, finance, light industrial, warehouse roles. And for the last 10 years, I've been a little bit more focused on engineering and technical and executive recruitment here. So I've been focused on helping startups, over the last 7.5 years, helping build out their recruiting functions and help them scale very quickly as well. I really found my true passion for recruitment in this space here. Helping build companies that are going to change the world is really something, amazing to be a part of. And then I currently lead, like I said, the talent acquisition team here at Gather. And like Abhishek mentioned as well, we've been lucky to be a part of a lot of growth here. I've been here a little over a year, and we've just about doubled in size. So it's really exciting to be a part of that growth, and be excited. It's just great to be a part of that journey as well.
That's great. Thank you so much, Abhishek and Travis, for sharing your story with us. We are thrilled to have you here and you share your insights and expertise with us. So, moving on with the session agenda, the first thing that people usually check when applying for a role in the company, they check out the company website and gather all the information they can get about the company, what it does, its products, services, etc. So employers appreciate candidates who take the time to research their organization. It shows that you are genuinely interested in the company and the role you're applying for, rather than just sending out generic applications. So, Travis, could you tell us more about Gather AI as an organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been around for about 7 years now. We were founded by Carnegie Mellon University graduates Sankalp Arora, Daniel Maturana, and Gitesh Dubey. We're based here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the United States, where we're considered, the world leader in drone-based inventory management. So now, a large chunk of us sit here in the Pittsburgh area, but we also have folks working fully remote in the US, and we have, of course, a team in India as well. Everybody in India is working fully remote too here. Um, and then, really what we do is at Gather is the goal is to bring real-time inventory insights to warehouse operators. We do that by, to help decrease the cost of inventory, improve productivity, and boost revenue here. So you probably ask, how do we do that? So this is where, the interesting part of computer vision and AI come in. We're using computer vision and AI on the data gathered from the warehouses to find misplaced inventory. So how it works is the drones are taking pictures of each location. The AI analyzes those pictures, reading multiple barcodes and text, and detecting empty locations. This tech allows us to provide real-time updates and process visibility to the supply chain. And people tend to think of us as a drone company. Drones are a tool that we use, but we don't build or manufacture drones. Our technology is so advanced that we are able to integrate it into existing hardware. In this case, it's being integrated into drones that we're just buying off the shelf. So the drones are like the cool thing that get people's attention a lot, but we're really, a software focused company at our core here. So this tech really allows our customers to scan 15 times more pallets per hour and decrease their inventory errors by 66% on average, saving them, obviously, among other things, lots of money and operating costs as well. So as you can see, we're backed by a number of VC firms here, and we're really excited to announce that I would say probably about a month ago, we announced the $17 million raise in our Series A1, which is super exciting, and adding to the excitement here as well, and obviously is going to help contribute to our growth here. So that's sort of a high level overview of Gather and who we are here.
That's great. So, yes, we have some slides around the product. So, Abhishek, I would want you to cover these slides.
So, uh, so guys, I mean, I wanted to actually showcase the application of AI in supply chain, and that was a great opportunity for me to talk about our product. You are going to experience it, I would say. So let's move on to the next slide, Divya, so I can show like how what Travis just explained works. Can you make it a full screen or something? So, okay, our product is much faster than this. So, okay. So it's very easy to use our product actually. You have to just have a so it's easy to use our product. You just need to bring the cart in with any accessories, and then in the area that you want to scan in the warehouse. And then on our iPad application, you have to select the bins that you want to scan, place the drone on the ground, and press a button on the iPad application to take off. And then you don't need any, fancy scissor lifts and equipment, so that as the drone can fly very high on the to scan inventory placed high up, and the drone when the it's taking images. As you can see, it is going bin by bin and taking images. So when it is done collecting the data, the drone will land onto the ground, either when it is done scanning all the bins that you selected, or when the battery is low. When the battery is low, you can swap the batteries, so it again continues the mission that it was doing. So by this, if you have just one drone flying, then you can scan 300 pallets in an hour. But when it is flying, if you launch another drone and a third drone, so you can make it to 900 pallets scanned in an hour. So it was a quick glimpse of the flight that we just showed over there. And the impact that we are making, like, so it was a very difficult task. Like, so a problem that was never solved for the warehouses, and with this with the combination of robotics. When we talk about robotics, we are talking about autonomy. That is, you are creating algorithms for the drone to move in the warehouse, navigate the entire warehouse based on the map that you have given, and then ML algorithms that would that automatically scans, okay, where the LPN is actually situated, through by creating a region of interest, and then other components of the pipeline that would identify the LPN based on the code. We call it as LPN in warehouse terminology. So that way, those insights are taken from those images, and then all those images are sorry. So first, the images from the iPad would be uploaded to the cloud, and then the ML processing would take these insights. All that data is then transferred to backend, and then we show it on the dashboard. So you by this you can scan 100 and 150 pallets scanned. So you can scan 100 and 150 pallets per flight, and this is 15x faster than human cycle counters. So it's very fast. Like earlier, it was a monotonous job for the warehouse, inventory controllers. Very monotonous job and very difficult to do. People will take, years to wait. Okay, we'll get an opportunity and then we'll see what is the inventory there. So everything was there on an estimation basis. And because of this, there's a direct impact on the order fulfilling. And I'll just talk about them. Can we move on to the next slide? So this is the dashboard where the data appears that the customers get in. They don't need to go into the warehouse to check anything. They can validate whether their WMS is is matching with the ground reality on the warehouse. So what happens when there is a lot of movement in the inventory? You may not be updating your WMS, that is the warehouse management system, with the updates. So it might get delayed, and then it is the only source that will help you to fulfill the orders. So you don't know whether the item is really there for which you have an order or not. So this is the simplest way of explaining this. So all that data appears onto this dashboard, and you can check for whether it is a match, is a mismatch, whether the location is empty. So let's move on to the next slide. So these are the problems that we are solving for 3PLs. 3PLs means third party logistics. So you are our product is catering to on time shipping, labor challenges. So after 2020, labor challenges became really uh, became a problem for the industry. So this is solving that. And equipment and software cost, you are saving a lot on scissor lifts and all. Then we can tell, okay, how many locations are empty, so how optimally the entire warehouse is occupied. So you are addressing space utilization there. And let me tell you, like you have a feature wherein there are big piles of containers, as in container areas you might have seen in air cargos and all, and they work through volumes. So we can actually create 3D models of those piles of boxes and create and estimate the volume of those boxes. Until now, they were just bearing losses because they were just estimating, okay, this could be like X cubic meters or Y cubic meters, and then billing based on that. But now they can really bill based on what it is. Inventory write-offs. So inventory write-offs means that you can report your shrinkage and loss in inventory because of XYZ factors. So you can have a more control on that. compliance and competitive differentiation, and it automatically leads to better customer service. So this is it. Hope you like it. But this is a good example of application of computer vision on in the supply chain space. Can we
Great.
move on,
Um,
please?
yeah.
Thank you.
Pallavi, can we just yes. Okay. So, great. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for such a detailed explanation of how the entire process at Gather AI works. And I'm sure the audience here are fascinated by the information shared by you. And I'm sure they are itching to know more about what it's like to work at Gather AI. So, could you please share some light on organizational culture and the core values, given that it is a startup with 100% remote setup and international team?
I'm so glad. So, I mean, it's almost a privilege to share the culture because, I have been into various companies into the past, but from last 4 years, there's been a life-changing experience for me when I joined Gather. So, I'll share my personal experience then, and then I will go into the slide. So, being part of the team that truly puts people first has been incredibly rewarding. And the supportive atmosphere and emphasis on the personal growth have made every day here not just educational but enjoyable. And our engineering challenges are tackled with such speed and focus that it is fun in how we solve the problems, and the accountability we hold that truly enhances our outcomes. So most importantly, the value that we place on learning over fearing the failure has been a game changer for us. So it's transformed challenges into opportunities and mistakes into stepping stones, making every day a chance to improve and innovate. And this is we live by our culture every day, like our core values. And so we put customers first as people. We strive to hire the best. So and then when we say we want to solve the problem by living the customer's life. That is, I always keep saying, when we are building something, just empty your mind, like empty your just look at the customer's problem. What are you trying to solve for? And then design your solution based on that. Challenge and commit. So challenge and commit, we have a culture wherein we'll document our ideas, and then we'll debate on them. We'll discuss the trade-offs. But once we commit, then there is full commitment. There is no there are no differences. We simply commit to it and do it. Our products inspire. As you have seen, this is such an amazing. This is amazing engineering that we do over here, and everybody is proud of how they have contributed to make the customer's life easier. And I just talked about a few, but just to talk about another one that the full stack team also contributed to in India, is that we have created tools to map the entire warehouse into a coordinate system. It can be converted into a map that guides the autonomy side of the tool. So then there's bias for action. Doing is better than talking. So this is, I don't need to explain, but we prefer to act rather than talk. And as soon as something comes up, we feel we should do it, then we'll quickly get a consensus on it and get it done. And doing the right thing and nothing else. So there's if you are seeing something going wrong, or it has to be fixed, but you are just thinking about it, or you are thinking, okay, this is not my responsibility, let me sit on it, somebody else will take care. That is not how we work. We always if we think something needs to be corrected, anybody would take accountability for it and get it done. Then above all, I mean, we embrace failure. It is opportunity to grow strong as a company. We meet our commitments to ourselves, to our customers, to our team. Okay, and last but not the least, we embrace fun. We embrace learning and excitement. So this is what Gather AI's culture is, and this is driven by. I'll go on to the next part, wherein this is driven by the core values that we live day in, day out. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So our mission is to gather insights in the physical world, to enable processes to be more transparent for the logistics industry using autonomous robots. So, and our vision is to make data gathering in the physical world as easy as it is to gather data in the digital. That is our vision. And as I just discussed, these core values: people first, awesome engineering, speed, focus, accountability, learning and failure, candor, and fun. So, I'll take some examples. It's like easy to talk about these terms, but people really don't get it. So I'll just take some examples. So everyone at Gather knows the impact that they are making on the customer's life. We put customers at first as people, and our team takes pride in the impact that they make on customers. Then every one of us owns the solution and implement the idea after we lay out to a larger group, describing the need, the trade-offs, and seek constructive feedback from the team. But once we agree, we simply move towards it's a time box activity always. So we embrace failure. It is an opportunity to grow strong as a company, and we share failures, learnings. So, like say, many of us face this. Like sometimes we fail at something, we are not really open to admit it or take it to the bigger group. But here, if we fail, we really openly share, okay, where we lag, what can we improve, and then everybody simply, learns from it and then grows stronger. But if we have done something great, then we celebrate it equally by showcasing our work. So our our, da- uh, our our decisions are data centric. Every day we look at the data, at the facility performance. Okay, how our accuracy is in when we collect all that data. It is a convergence where we gather all together every day, and then we discuss all the metrics and take jot down actions out of it and act on them immediately as soon as possible. So our intuitions are also backed by evidence. It's not that, okay, I feel something about someone and I can do so. Rather than I'll have to have some data points to be able to back my decision, right? Now I'll talk about some stories from amazing people from Gather. Like we have Bridget Nelson. Right now she's a product. She's part of the product team, but she joined as a customer success manager. She was passionate about customer success. That means she was very closely working with the customer. So she pursued education in product management with Gather AI support and transitioned into supporting our product needs from a customer centric standpoint. So she was able to navigate through from that experience, from that customer context that she brought in. She is now contributing to the product development. Similarly, Preston is changing the entire landscape of observability, like all the business metrics. Like he's and now you will think like he's very delved into Python scripts and all, and he's writing all the stuff, gathering all the data together and transforming into useful metrics, and that is game changing as well. Sanyam Shrikant Ravi even landed spots in top US universities, like say University of Michigan and University of Purdue. So these are some examples like where they wanted to follow their passion. They got the learning, like they got introduced to robotics. They learned so much, and then ultimately they landed into top universities. So if somebody joins Gather, they work alongside a talented pool of with diverse backgrounds, from scientists to musicians. Like everybody is like somebody likes everybody has his passion. Like somebody's a scientist. Sometimes we have researchers, musicians, all kind of people from across the world, and you'll get to follow your passion in any field that interests.
Great. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for sharing these values and awesome. Thanks for the valuable insight. Now that we know that the culture, what the culture at Gather AI is, so we now come to the most interesting part, that is the hiring process. And I'm sure most of the people in the audience would be waiting to know how they can apply and what is the process involved in this for joining this organization. So, Travis, could you please take us through the hiring process? What does the hiring process look like and how long it takes and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that this is now the most interesting part of the process, right? No, so thank you for the transition there. So yeah, so first, we're going to take a look at all the applications. So every application is reviewed by a recruiter. So you will get a notification even if you are deemed not a fit for the role. Okay, so we understand it's really important to get back to you either way. I've looked for jobs in the past, and I've always appreciated when I got answers, even if I, wasn't the right fit for an opportunity as well. So if your application, appears to be a potential match, a recruiter, in this case, it'll be me. I'll schedule a 30-minute call to learn about your background, your skills, and your goals, and tell you more about the role. This is, I mean, obviously, I want to ask you questions and how your experience relates to the role, but this is also a really good opportunity for you to learn more about Gather AI and the role itself. We want to make sure that this is the right fit for you as well. Um, and then after that, you will then be moved forward to a skills assessment interview. That's a 1 hour call with a member of our engineering team. He'll, sort of spend a little bit of time on work history and how, again, your experience might relate to the role, but there's going to be more of a focus on technical skills for this. Usually that's done by sharing your screen as you work through an exercise. Also, it's a great opportunity to ask questions specific to getting to know the engineer's point of view as well. Excuse me. And then from there, we move you forward to the hiring manager interview. That's usually a 1 hour interview to dive into your experience. And you can also ask the hiring manager specific to his point of view as well. This interview tends to be a little bit more focused on areas like leadership, process development, communication, creativity, things like that. And then from there, we would then move you forward to the final interview and decision process from there. That's usually a call with our CTO and a member of our engineering team to take a more of a deep dive into your into your technical abilities. That's going to consist of probably about 30 to 40 minutes of some general knowledge and experience topics to get to know you, about 20 to 30 minutes on a short interactive design and coding problem. And then probably, you have plenty of time at the end to discuss the role and ask your questions specific to our CTO as well, right? And then if all goes well, we're going to put together a job offer. That's the really really exciting part, of course, right? We'll conduct references and background checks before making a competitive offer. Everyone at Gather receives equity in the company as well, so that everyone has a stake in our company's success here too. And then, we can usually get folks through our interview process fairly quickly, depending on availability, of course. While we'd like to get everybody through our interview process quickly, we want to ensure that all candidates have a good candidate experience, whether an offer is made or not. And that's my commitment to the interview process here. So that's sort of a high-level overview of our process and what that might look like.
Great. Thank you so much, Travis, for taking us through the entire process at Gather AI. I'm sure the professionals looking to apply for jobs at Gather AI would find this helpful. So, coming to the open jobs, let's move to the next slide. So, Travis, before we open the floor for questions and other things, do you want to take a bit about the rules and what all roles are open and you're looking for?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Abhishek, he has two roles available on his team here. I think he was going to discuss those a little bit in the senior engineering lead for our front end team, and a senior software engineer for our DevOps team.
Sure. So as you can see, senior engineering lead front end is a front end role, and our tech stack is React mostly, while you will be working with backend APIs that are written in Python, Node.js. I mean, the dashboard that I just demonstrated on a slide, and then there is a tool that there are tools where you'll enable mapping of the warehouses. Those are a few example of the products that you will get to work on. Those are some amazing products, and then you will get direct visibility to customers, like say, because that is the actual result of the entire pipeline that goes out to the customer, and he relies on it day in and day out. their workflow depends on it. So there's a lot of impact that you can make by joining the team. And senior software engineer DevOps are we are in on both the cloud offerings, Azure and AWS, along with something some pieces on GCP as well. So uh, here, what I mean, this is like, say we have, since we have just started, we are not that old, so our it needs a lot of things to be done. So we have to be ready for the scale that we are soon approaching to, and for that you'll get opportunities to work on some greenfield projects, and which is a rare opportunity. Mostly you will be incurring a lot of tech debt, but here you get this opportunity to work on greenfield projects here, and which can include like scaling our pipelines to millions of requests per second. That is soon approaching. I mean, millions of is too much, I think, but yeah, I mean, I assume so. It will reach somewhere at that point. But there are many projects coming in, and you can read the job description for more details. Otherwise, it will be a very detailed description. But I'm sure that you will enjoy your if you even if you just explore this. Thank you.
Great. So, for the people who find these opportunities relevant, can check Gather AI website as well as Uplers website also. You can find the same opportunities over there. So, moving on to the next slide. Before we come to the end of the presentation, any tips for our audience on how they can prepare for a job at Gather AI or any global remote company?
Oh, sure. And I'll be happy to share these tips. So, I mean, working in remote, everybody, can easily think, okay, I'm not meeting anyone, I'm not seeing anyone, how to get the work done. So there are a few frameworks that are available out there that you should apply to be succeed in these kind of roles when you are working remotely. And these frameworks include, demonstrating the design thinking process. And what design thinking really means, you can really Google it out. I'll not talk about it more much, but the big part is that uh, you are keen to document anything, right? And then you create prototypes to demonstrate anything, take it to a bigger group, and then you put customers' problem in context before anything you solve for. So, okay, for example, a front end developer might think, let me use this fancy tool to maybe learn this and do something about it. But then you're not putting customer context in. What is the problem you're trying to solve with the tool? That is the first question you should ask yourself without going into over optimization. So we look for pragmatism here, right? So living the customer's life, because you will be solving the problems that are related to warehouses, and warehouses are far located. You may not need get to visit the warehouse, but you have to think through it, you know. So that is even more interesting. So that is how, if you have those skills like demonstrate design thinking, then you come with entrepreneurial mindset, wherein you are excited or motivated enough to take things from scratch to the finish line. It's not that, okay, I started something, but then I got disengaged, I got distracted, or maybe I just decided to put it down. So that doesn't really work. If you committed for something, you should complete it. So reflect on the initiatives taking, impact of your work reflected should be reflected in the metrics. So once you do something, you should be able to reflect through metrics, and then the so when you are interviewing, you should talk about that impact that you made on the in your past stint. Most people will talk task oriented things. Oh, I did this, I did that, but what is the overall impact that you made? And this is a lot of times, this terms comes from the Amazon interview process star method. So they talk about situation, task, action, result. So it is a similar thing I'm talking about, but talk about the bigger impact that you created instead of diving. I mean, unless asked, instead of diving into the micro tasks that you did. So embrace asynchronous communication. So what does that mean? So those who are working in office environments, and I have worked, so there's a tendency to, oh, let's do a meeting for discussing something. Let's spend an hour and bring everyone into a meeting room, discuss something. That becomes a habit. So you sometimes you stop believing that something can be done on asynchronous communication as well. If it can be a message that I can simply send to everyone and everyone gets to know, there's no need of meeting. So this is a small example, but a bigger idea is that you should be able to present your ideas, you should be able to seek feedbacks, and then when you get this feedback, you should be able to implement and taking it to the finish line. So embracing asynchronous communication is extremely important in remote work.
And then also to add to that, Abhishek, remote work. If you've done it before, highlight it in your resume and discuss your experience working in a remote environment in your interview. There's a learning curve associated with remote work. So having that experience and skill set is a skill set you might have over other candidates. So it's very important to highlight that. So self-motivated motivation and discipline is very important in remote work here. So you're not here at Gather, and really you're not going to have anyone looking over your shoulder. Everyone here is trusted at Gather to get their work done. We don't care, where or when work is getting done, as long as it's getting done. And that is a big part of the trust factor here at Gather. And then, to kind of, I guess, go back to Abhishek's, culture and values. Everybody here is trusted. Like I said, I am leading the talent acquisition function here, and I am trusted in my judgment, to kind of steer the ship in the right direction here. Folks are, I don't get pushback if we try things and it doesn't work. That's okay. Let's move on to something else. So just being very motivated and disciplined, though, in your work is very important to ensure that, you don't need somebody looking over your shoulder, which is not what we do here. An ability to communicate clearly and proactively. Many times communication is going to be done using tools like Slack and other tools. So concise communication to get your point across is going to be very important. And that's going to come, through in your interview as well. We very long-winded answers, to eventually get your point across. That is not ideal. So you need that concise communication. Like Abhishek mentioned before, what have you delivered on, and why does it matter in your communication? You need to be adaptable, resilient, and overcome obstacles. The environment at startups can be very hectic and fast-paced from time to time, and truthfully, that's the way it is here. That isn't always the right fit for everyone, and that's okay. So while the environment can be hectic and fast-paced, it's still a great opportunity to have a big impact, though, on what we're trying to accomplish at Gather. So, highlighting your experience and just because, you're working on one thing one day and working on, doesn't mean you're going to be working on it the next day. So highlighting your experience and be able to pivot and adapt and deliver on short notice will be very important as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Abhishek and Travis, for sharing these tips and tricks for people over here. And with this, we are done with the presentation. And now let's open the floor for Q&A. For the people who want to ask any questions, can just type in the chat box. We'll pick it and ask it. And we already have few questions. So to begin with, okay, we have a question which is being experienced in the marketing with the tools and plannings, is it necessary to have a good communication also? Anybody, like Abhishek or Travis, anybody of you can answer this.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
The question is being experienced in the marketing with the tools and planning, is it necessary to having a good communication also?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, communication is huge and going to be evaluated like throughout the interview process as well, right? It's great to have certain skill sets that are listed on the resume, but communication is going to be very key, especially when you consider you're going to be working cross-functionally with a lot of different teams here as well. and given the fact that our team in India is working fully remote. So communication, clear, concise communication is going to be one of the top skills that we're going to be looking for sure, for not only, like say these engineering roles, but all roles across the board.
Yes, thank you for answering that. So we have another question, which is any plans to have product roles in India or only software engineering roles in the near future for India?
So right now, the focus is on software engineering roles. We are growing the team in India of like we'll have more developers than managers, you know. So Travis, if you have more insights on that.
So that's a good question. So, things change on a daily basis here. That's again part of working at a startup. So while we don't necessarily have any plans, today, that doesn't mean we won't have any plans tomorrow for it, right? So a lot of that is going to depend on a lot of different factors here internally. But that's something I'm sure that we would consider in the future.
Great. So, yes. So, another question, which is what are the common mistakes candidates make during remote job interviews and how they can be avoided?
So one of the things I see a lot is, candidates don't necessarily go into a lot of detail in their answers. When asked, what are your responsibilities? Tell me about your experience, doing this. Giving just like a high level, like 10-second answer, like, oh, this is what I did. Okay, well, tell me about how you did it. What was the situation? What was the obstacle you overcame? How did you go about that? And what was the end result? Rather than just saying, I did this. Okay, well, tell me exactly how you did it. Can convince me that you were in, you kind of led the charge on that process there. So that's one of the things I see. Probably, one of the more common mistakes that I see across the board, just interviewing candidates for, again, not only these technical roles, but all roles.
Okay. Thanks for answering that. So, yes, we have another question, which is somebody has asked that I'm just curious to know the tech stack. Is there any place um, where we can get more information about this?
Well, I can answer that immediately, and then I'll do something about it so it is more transparent. So our tech stack belongs. We have in terms of programming languages and frameworks, we have Python, Node.js, always in action. I mean, Python is everybody's tool. So and Node.js is mostly for backend APIs and all. We have Postgres database. We have MongoDB. We have Azure as a host, a cloud hosting provider, and AWS as well, where most of our workloads are ML or AI related. Then we have on this is backend and we like the iPad application is written in mostly C, C++, Objective-C, Swift. It is a mixture of all four. So because it's not a conventional app that you see on mobile like okay you are building some UI and all, but it is more of a like algorithms that are written in C that would drive the autonomy logic, but the rest of the UX part could be usual as well. So yeah, this is what is majorly the tech stack about. Am I missing anything? Any like if there's anything specific you want to know, I can ask.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. So we have another question, which is, can you please explain how AI is shaping DevOps?
Oh, so what has changed recently is, and this is a very rare skill to have. Um, see the basic fundamentals are the same everywhere, like how you deploy apps, how you manage it on cloud, how you administer Postgres, everything remains the same. But you need to learn the services on these cloud providers like AWS and Azure to host the ML workload that needs GPU heavy machines sometimes. So and then how to deploy a model, and then how to fine tune a model. Not that it's not a, but you need to understand the services that are offered that are serving to like AI or ML workloads. So AWS SageMaker, and I'm forgetting a lot of them are there, OpenAI services and all. So you can learn about that and transition into an ML ops role versus the usual DevOps also. So if you just add ML services, ML related services into your arsenal along with the usual DevOps experience you had, you're good.
Okay, so we have another question, which is, um, what can be the roadmap for a fresher having experienced at non-tech and he wants to start in tech?
Sure. So see, first identify some real world problem that you want to solve for, or maybe if so the real world problem could be, I mean, I'll just share my example. I'm living in my society. I always think, okay, can I automate the visitor app? Like, say, for example, there's a guard sitting in there, people coming in, and then they are making entries. So, can I automate that for so that somebody comes in, detects the app detects his face, and if he has entered earlier, like that person can be automatically recognized and checked in. So these are some kind of problem that you can work on and develop some application at your own pace. And if you don't dream of these kind of if you don't imagine these kind of application, you can work in data analytics. You can take simple examples where you can process an Excel sheet using Python, right, and generate metrics from that. You can imagine, okay, what metrics would be valuable in those. So practice Python. That is the like very easy to adapt language, and with practice, and then focus on the basic data structures and algorithms, so you can have good idea, okay, what this computer science entire field is about and how it works. I mean, this will give you a greater understanding. So if you continuously and consistently at it for an year, or you should be good to start with a internship or something.
Great. So we have another question, which is, how do you track the working productivity as everyone are working remotely?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. How do you track the working productivity of your team as everybody is working remotely?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. So, if you have deadlines and if you have, this um, commitment to something, or you are yourself invested into the product that you are working in, I think you'll find productivity if you are not. And then you keep reading on this, like, okay, don't procrastinate, or try to get things done. So that those are the keys to get productive, and also having fun. Do what you like, so you'll automatically be productive. And Travis can add something like if he has some tips on that.
Yeah. What was that, Abhishek? Sorry, you cut out there.
Oh, I'm saying if you want to add some tips on like how to be more productive in remote work.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Again, I mean, it just kind of goes back to, being, proactive and taking that initiative, right? That's one thing, as we grow as a company too, there's always room for improvement, right? And coming up with different ideas on how to work more efficiently is very helpful as well. So, in terms of like, how things get tracked here and things like that. Abhishek, went into a little bit more detail there than I'd be able to, but just implementing new things and working more efficiently certainly goes a long way as well.
Okay, so thank you for answering that. We have another question, which is, when searching for leadership positions, what guiding principles do you rely on?
Oh, we live our core values, our culture day in day out. So we talk about them. Anything we do, we relate it to what core value we demonstrated. We appreciate each other a lot for our work together, and we celebrate it.
Yeah, and I mean that's exactly right. And you could have the greatest skill set and find the greatest technical skill set, and you check every box. But if we don't believe a person is going to be a good culture add here, we will not move forward with an offer, no matter how talented you are. That is a big part of our screening process as well. If we don't believe that folks live and act our core values, then we will not be moving forward. So, and that is, again, something that we screen out for throughout our interview process. Many times our CEO, Sankalp Arora, will be involved in our screening process. And that is one of the main things that he is on the lookout for. So the importance of adding folks who add value to our culture is extremely important. And that is communicated from the top of the organization all the way through.
Okay, so we have another question, which is from your experience, how important is it for a project coach to possess deep technical knowledge, especially in today's fast changing world where new technology is being adopted every month?
I still didn't get the gist of the question. Is it like how to have? Can you just summarize this one?
Okay, I'm repeating the question once again. From your experience, how important is it for a project coach to possess deep technical knowledge, especially in today's fast changing world where new technology is being adopted every other month?
Oh, so yeah, I mean, important. It is like extremely important. You can't empathize with your team unless you understand the functioning. Like, if you don't have the technical expertise, someone coming to you explaining his problem, maybe how would you would not be able to empathize why is he stuck. And if you are an arrogant person, maybe I mean, then you might end up trolling him for his uh, why he's blocked, or maybe ask some irrelevant questions that are like, okay, when are you going to get it done? So it doesn't comes out to be a great leader if you can't really justify the leadership that is needed there if you don't have the technical expertise that can guide your team. I'm not saying that you should know each in and out syntactical, expertise when you want to, guide your team, but at least you should have good idea of what we are doing here and have great grips on the architecture and how we are building it, even if not exact line of code that the team is working on. So
Okay.
it's extremely important.
Yes, thanks for answering that. So, in your experience, what are some key factors that contribute to client satisfaction and long-term partnerships?
So, as I continuously repeated this over and over again, this is put customers first, live the customer's life. And I can share this experience with as an example. So we were building this tool, a warehouse tool that used to map the warehouse. We don't have warehouse in front of us. Like we just visited once, had a training, and we started to build this product to ease out our team's lives, so that when they go into the warehouse, they find this tedious process to be very easy to visualize and then put all the 3D coordinates into uh, and create a map out of it, a JSON map. Now, we didn't have warehouses in perspective, and we kept, stretching the project, or I would say it was a little bit delayed until we really went in with the team to see what kind of problems they are facing with the tool or while working. We had to understand their workflow. For that, we had to spend X number of, uh, odd hours with them to be in the warehouse and then work with them. But unless we had that context, we were not able to, we were able to build the product, but it was not up to the expectation. So this applies to everyone. So if you are not working very closely with the customer or the end user to whom you are solving a problem, maybe you end up building something else that is not needed. So it's really important to empathize with the customer's pain and then build accordingly.
Great. So, last question for today, which is what opportunities for professional development does Gather AI provide to its employees?
Very, very good question. Last but not the least. So, the unique thing about Gather is that everyone, or I would say whoever you choose as your mentor, is invested into your personal growth, right? As I shared some examples, that people with the guidance or support from Gather were able to transition from one role to other that they were passionate about. They were able to land into top-notch universities by the guidance provided by uh, the alumni from Carnegie Mellon. So that's the beauty of it. You are working here, you are having fun, you are enjoying the stuff that you are building, and you are doing innovation. Along with that, if you are passionate about something, nobody is stopping you. You will rather have guidance to work on it. One of our front end developer, I mean, Legion. He at his home while he also built a car that is self-driven car. It works through robotics and he put it all his brains, so it can automatically navigate and can walk on a line. So these are the kind of projects that are, and then he enhances knowledge about it, and everybody is passionate. So that is how we support our team's passions. Like whatever they want to work on, they can take in a side project, and we'll provide ample of support so that they get good amount of passion.
With this, we end up the session here. And thank you so much, Abhishek and Travis. Your insights have been invaluable, and we want to express our sincere gratitude for generously sharing your time to contribute to the growth of our community. We truly appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This is great.
Great. So, for our joiners, we have some upcoming steps to participate in future insightful sessions. Be sure to be registered on Uplers. Our website features numerous job roles posted by various companies. Explore the opportunities available for you. And for the people who are not a part of our Discord community, can join it through the link shared. Once you join our community, you will get the exclusive access of our amazing Discord channels. So stay tuned. You will get all the recordings and materials on WhatsApp, and social media. So stay tuned for the updates, and we eagerly anticipate hosting more sessions and reconnecting with you guys in near future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.